Hello and welcome to another edition of Convict Inc. I'm your host, Robert Rosso. Sorry I'm late tonight. Had the pipes replaced under the house because it was that old, galvanized pipe or whatever it's called, the old lead pipes. Had them replaced, and the back bathroom there's crap everywhere. But as soon as I get done here, I gotta, I guess, go outside and start digging or something. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, please, if you have not subscribed, do so. And if you like the video at the end, hit like. I'm going to go ahead and do Mob Mondays. My wife suggested that, and people in the comment section said the same thing. Well, about 4 or 5 of them. So that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to go ahead and do this one about 2 people. And that's because I really don't have enough content to, I'm just not going to rip you guys off and just be like 5 minutes or something. I know there's a lot of people got used to me doing the long videos and like it. That's split about 50-50. Anyway, this is about the chin and Fat Sal. All right. First of all, let's start off with the chin. Everybody in this audience knows who the chin was. Ran around in his bathrobe acting crazy. There's lots of footage of him. I think he peed on himself in the bathrobe and stuff. Smart man. I mean, that was actually brilliant. But he ended up getting some time in his old age, and he ended up at Springfield, Missouri, where a close friend of mine went for knee surgery. Not only did this person go there for knee surgery, but he ended up being put in the cell with the chin. Also living in the cell was a homosexual guy that catered to the chin. He was his bitch, and then that's just what it was. Name was Carl too. That's funny because DePalma had one named Carl. My friend couldn't stand these guys, okay? He's from California like myself, did not grow up around organized crime, was not a part of his life. We never heard about it on the West Coast too much, maybe in some movies. But this guy respects his elders, but when people try to use their influence or the positions of power, to press up on others, or however you want to say it. For example, the chin liked he liked it hot in the room. The air condition bothered him. My friend wanted the air on. Now, my guy was in his early 30s. Chin was in the 70s. He also wanted like lights out at 8 o'clock, TV only on a certain thing, all that stuff. And my friend spent most of his juvenile years in prison and his adult years in prison and was part of a prison gang. So he said that he tried, but in the end, he just kind of flipped it on him. So here's what happened. It came out one day that the chin and Carl wanted the cell because they wanted to put commissary away. It was store day. And my friend was asleep. He just had knee surgery done on a whole bunch of, drugs. Prescription pills can make you cranky and floaty and all kinds of other stuff. Well, when Carl suggested that my friend come back in a little while, that's pretty much that he lost it. At that point, he told them that he was keeping the air on. He was going to open up the window when he wanted to. He was going to start watching this shows at this time, and he didn't care what they said. The chin went and got some guys that were part of his crew, and my guy, who's a pretty tough kid back in the day, told him to go fuck himself. I mean, I don't know what else to say. So that's what he did. And the guy really didn't know what to do. He offered to pay him. In fact, the Chin did start giving my friend stuff daily to watch a certain TV show. I know there's going to be a lot of people that hear this and they're going to say, oh, that's BS, or whatever, you know, watch what you say, or how can you do that? Or there's no way the Chin could have done that. Listen, I'm telling you, that's what happened. Believe me if you want, whatever. My friend ended up back at Lewisburg with me, where I introduced him to a guy whose dad was killed, not by Chin, but Chin greenlighted it. This guy also happens to have a cousin who's a very influential mob attorney in New York. And this guy, the Italian guy that I met at Lewisburg, of course he couldn't stand the Chin either, because this guy had his dad whacked. He did admit that his dad had some faults, that he did some stuff that was wrong, but the person who gave the green light to do it or ordered the hit was Chin. My friend, who was cellmates with Chin, hurt his knee again, and it looked like he was going to have to go back to Springfield for another round of surgery. And there was a lot of talk about my friend and the guy whose dad got killed, or Chin had killed, started plotting to do away with Chin, specifically smother him with pillows. And let me tell you something. 100%, without a doubt, if my dude would have went back, especially if he would have got paid, done. Springfield doesn't have cameras, or didn't back in the day. When somebody's older like that, I don't even know if they do biopsies, you know, but yeah. So you see me hesitating on the story and stuff because I know the kind of reception it'll get. I know people that were with me at Lewisburg, some other guys that know about this. There was a lot of plotting back and forth. There was phone calls to the street. A lot of stuff going on behind the scenes on this one. And ultimately, it was just conversation. There was nothing concrete. Kind of hypothetical stuff, you know what I mean? And I don't know, did the Chin die? Did he end up dying there in federal custody, or did he get out? Anyway, the moral of this story is, for at least 2 months, I was privy to conversations that had to do with taking out the Chin. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to have to rethink this before I post this too, I guess. Okay, so the next one's about Fat Sal, or Salvador. I got him all Googled here and stuff. Fat Sal, Salvatore Fat Sal Scala. Sal, or Fat Sal, was sentenced to 6 years for shaking down a Manhattan strip club and a kickback scheme. I think he blurted out on court that he only made $50 out of the whole thing. But nevertheless, he only got 6 years because he had cancer, liver cancer. That charge carries something like 17 years. I read it on here, but he was really lucky to get 6, especially he had a prior criminal history. And I just found out a little while ago that Sal was charged with heroin trafficking. It was kicked out, but that just kind of, if you heard him tell it, like he never saw drugs, hated people that did drugs, didn't want nothing to do with drugs. Never mind that John Gotti's best friend, Mark Ryder, was one of the biggest heroin dealers in New York. And they were like ace deuces. So never mind that a whole bunch of them sell dope. But Sal was anti-drug in a big bad way. When Sal came, I was introduced to Sal through Greg DePalma. Greg DePalma, as I've said before, was this larger-than-life mob character in a wheelchair, knew a lot of celebrities, was proud of that fact, bragged about it, talked openly about celebrities that he knew. He was a mouth, and I don't even say that in a bad way. He was caught on wiretaps more than any other mobster or made guy. I think that's a fact. He liked to talk. He loved it, and he told good stories, so he was entertaining. Sal, from the day I met him, you ever see the Flintstone kids, like Schleprock? So you know how when Schleprock enters a room, it's like womp, womp, womp. It's like depressed. That was Sal. I had nothing against him in the beginning, first few months or whatever, but every time he walked into a room, he complained about how bad he felt, about how he was dying, about how he's filing for compassionate release. And God forbid, don't ever ask him, hey, how you doing today, Sal? You're hit. 20 minutes, he's going to tell you exactly what kind of stools he had, soft, runny, whatever. If there's blood he passed, nausea, if he was able to hold food down. Now, this guy had liver cancer, and he was in his mid-60s. So, mentally, he was messed up over it. When you're in Butner Hospital and everybody around you has cancer, as did I, although not invasive like these other guys, a lot of guys make the best of it and don't talk about it. Or if they do, they make jokes about it. Like, I'm gone in 60. I'll be going to the 5th floor. 5th floor is where you go to die. I'm going to the 5th floor soon. Hey, you want my stuff? There's guys that really like make a joke out of the fact that they're dying. That's how they deal with it. Sal did minute for minute of his sentence. Every minute. So those 6 years they gave him, he died. He ended up dying in Butner Hospital. But those 6 years, let me tell you, he did 60 years mentally. He did every second. Now, he had a walker. He used a walker. A lot of guys in the hospital that were older, especially mobbed up guys, got walkers because they can push them around and sit. It's an instant chair anytime you want. They're great for going to the store and carrying stuff back. Great for the chow hall. Did he need one? I don't know. My liver wasn't like his. He had one, pushed it around, and was no punk. Let me tell you this about Sal. If somebody bumped him, he was going to make them say, excuse me, for sure. I don't care who it was. I don't care how many homeboys they had around him. It didn't matter. That's what he was doing. One day, he was in the TV room I was in 4B. DePalma was in 4C, so he was in 4D. That's the floor that he lived in. He used to watch TV or the news there, and then he'd come over and sit with Greg and the gang after 6 o'clock or so. He needed, time away from Greg DePalma. I think everybody needed time away from Greg, but me, because I was so high, it didn't matter. One day, somebody came running over and said that Sal was ready to get in a fight in the TV room. And the guy that turned the TV on him, and that I think he actually swung his elbow at first. No. Not only did he swing his elbow and hit him, he gave him like a 3-piece too. Not a powerful one, but the guy was shocked. This is a 35, 36-year-old black kid from New York who didn't care who Sal was, but Sal surprised him. when they came and said that he had problems, of course, I was hanging around these guys. I ran over there, and I'm the one that ended up getting into a fight with that guy, Over Sal. Actually, the guy had a set schedule, what he used to watch. Sal wanted to watch something different, and Sal was the one that was rude about it. Whatever. So yes, I got into a fight over Sal's bullshit. And it wasn't probably 2 weeks later when a guy named Jojo Russo, who was the captain of the Colombo family, came in dying of kidney cancer. All the mob guys wanted to go outside and have a little mob powwow. Of course, I was with them every day, so I went outside as well. You got to understand, I didn't really care what they had to say. They were talking about old times or this or that. Then they talked about business or whatever, but that's to me, it was like, rah, 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 like whatever, you know. I used to go outside all the time. I think I pushed JoJo that day. I forgot. But when we went outside, Sal stopped me before we went to the bleachers and said, hey, do me a favor. Catch basketballs, huh, so they don't hit us. There was a basketball court. The balls used to fly all over the place. Basically, he was saying, hey, lame, stay away from us and catch the basketballs like a bitch. That's really what he was saying. I had a few choice words, and I walked off and didn't stay around and catch basketballs. It was Tommy Karate and Greg, but Tommy Karate, that made Sal apologize to me. He came, he said that he was sorry. I told Tommy and Greg that the reason Sal did that was because I was a junkie. And let me say this. I wasn't running around shooting heroin, but I was running around catching every pill I can get and taking them. And I was wide open about it, and I didn't hide it from anybody, especially the guys that were in Greg DePalma's room, because that's where I used to do a lot of it. I would make my rounds. I'd have a whole bunch of pills, and I'd sit there and, hey, all right, Greg, where's the coffee? All right, boom, he'd get a cup of coffee, and I'd hit him. Like, I didn't care who was in the room. I didn't give a fuck. And I'm going to tell you something. So, you know, when I was younger and I used to snort coke, I was a junkie then, and I didn't even realize it. I thought a junkie was some needle freak, you know. A junkie's just someone who just, their life's all about dope, chase nonstop, and that's what I did. And I wasn't ashamed of it. So I figured Sal just didn't like me because of the dope. And I'm going to tell you, you know, many times he said, you don't seem like that guy, you know, I see you doing these pills. What are you doing with your life, you know? Stuff like that. So he did try to look out. But he was like a lot of mob guys that don't like California bald-headed goatee dudes that do drugs. So, and we're in a gang. So he didn't have much for me, really. That's what I felt. After that day, he came and apologized. And I mean, I don't know what Tommy said to him, if he like threatened him or what. And let me tell you this, I wouldn't have gotten a fight for this dude. And it was a real fight. He never thanked me. Never thanked me. And I just did it because this guy comes around, hey, told Greg DePalma, hey, your boy's in there getting into it. He just hit some N-word. The guy was black. And I immediately took off running over there, you know, just because I ran with them. And again, I'm high, I'm just floating around, went over there, hey, what are you doing? You fucking with this old dude, blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much what it was. And the hospital, I mean, you can get in fights all day in there. There's no cameras, and yeah, nobody cared. It was wide open. Never said thank you for that. And I told him after the thing about the basketball, when he apologized, I just said, I know you look at me, you know, like some lame, But I just need you to know that I don't give a fuck about anything you ever did in your life. You know, I don't care. All that stuff, that the John Gotti talk, I don't care. Like, to me, it sounds like you wanted to blow John. I said that to this man. I'm trying to think. There's Tommy Crotty knew that for sure. Yeah, I kind of went off because I was feeling some kind of way. But afterwards, Sal was really, really nice to me. He did have serious medical issues. He was filing for compassionate release. His lawyers did do shitty jobs. He had a lot to complain about, you know. After that, after he apologized, after we worked it out, I started actually caring about what he was saying about his liver and this and that, because it was like a running joke. Oh no, here comes Sal. Oh God, oh, don't ask him how he's doing. Don't ask him. So when he came in, we would immediately try to be in a conversation so he wouldn't bring up his health problems. I mean, I cannot stress to you what a whining, sniveling guy he was about his time and about his cancer. But in the end, like I said, after that incident on the basketball court, after he talked, after he apologized, after I, vented a little bit to him, he was really, matter of fact, he used to go out of his way to go by my room and just talk to me, like hang out with me by myself. It was totally different. So yeah, I don't know what Tommy Crotty said to him, but he changed up. And really, he was a nice guy. I mean, as far as in prison and respect and everything. I mean, well, of course there's that, the issue with the basketball, but he just didn't, he probably should have never committed any crime, because he really didn't know how to do time. Speaking of committing crime, they were telling stories, and in front of me and talking to me, he admitted that he was there during the Paul Castellano shooting. Straight up. Now, I swear that he said that his gun jammed. I've talked to somebody who's a mob historian, and they said, no, that was so-and-so's gun. But I swear to God that he said it jammed. They laughed. They were laughing about it. They were talking to him. And it was him and Greg. And I think Philly Black was the guy's name, or Philly Bonanno. And who else? There was another person in that room. But they were talking about that murder, about, running up to the car. Sal was laughing about it. And I, like I said, maybe I misunderstood, but they were busting a gut over the fact that the gun jammed. I just did some Google research and realized that it was somebody else's gun, and the guy they thought was, really didn't want to go to the hit and blah, 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 and all this other kind of crap. Anyway, so Sal died. It was 2008. There was actually another fight that I got into for him, but it wasn't a fight. The other one was like fist thrown, like we rocked until like he said stop, checked, are we good, or like other homeboys, just squashed. It was one of those deals. The second one, not so much. It was more of a bumping, choking, whatever. And even after I kind of resolved the issue, Sal took his cane and went bam and hit the guy. Yeah, another black dude, under 40, so, well, if anybody in his family sees this, like family members, I hope, you don't take it wrong. Sal sniveled about his time, shouldn't have been a criminal, should have stayed home. I don't know, I'm just bullshitting. All right, so I'm exhausted and I got to go deal with plumbing issues. In regards to the chin, I know that there'll be some crazy comments, and the person who was talking, just mulling over the idea of maybe suffocating him for $25,000. I got him talking about it. I got him having no problem talking about it one of these days in the near future. So you guys will be able to hear his account. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Mob Mondays, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to go live. Man, I want to go live every show. I really do. I like live so much better. The problem is we're not getting monetized for it. Every one I've done so far, I've been clipped, and I really don't know why. I mean, they've been, in the beginning, people would, when I first started getting monetized, people were like, wow, they couldn't believe I was, not getting a bunch of restrictions because of my content. I never even really knew the restrictions and what you're supposed to do, not to do, and all that other crap. But they're on me tough now. So, and I don't ask for money during the live shows. I just forget. It's kind of a little weird, all that other stuff. I'm back doing legal work on convictinc.net. I will be doing the Hour Talk Show soon. Today was a perfect example. Wake up to do something, and something totally different happens. And then the plumbing under the house, thought it was all good. Now I got to go outside and dig. Probably, no BS, probably an hour. And there's crap all over the back room. So that's where I'm at. Push the like button if you like the video. If you're not, I know I'm kind of flat. I get it. I really am. And I had reservations about the Chin story just because that's a lot to say. All right, guys. Thank you for your support. 5,900. So the subs are picking up again. Not like they were during the height, but I don't care. I'm right under 6,000, and I'm happy with that. I just wish I can get my flow going. I wish I can get the talk show going on whatever I'm going to do and get with it. The talk show is not going to be about just prison. It's going to be about drugs, prison, current events, random, totally different. So, all right, tomorrow, listen to me, Matt Hale. For all of you that know about white supremacist stuff, maybe some of you just don't care, that's cool too. Matt Hale's definitely one of them that's in the front, even though he's incarcerated. Got a history with Matt. Didn't go down so swell. It'll be a video tomorrow. Wow, I'm burping. Take care.